The good news is you can do this. And I'm going to encourage you, whatever you've been through, my prayers are with you, my thoughts are with you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rola, clinical psychologist, and today I want to talk to you about what you need to do if you have a disagreement with your adult child. Before I go on with this video, I want you to press that subscribe button, the notification bell, so that you would have access to my videos as soon as I release them. Now let's go on and talk about what you need to do when you are in disagreement with your young adult. I did a video 3 years ago, I think 2 to 3 years ago, and it was geared towards young adults. And I titled that video, Finding Your Way as a Young Adult. I would love you to review that video. But the essence of it is that a young adult is dealing with significant changes in this stage of development. The young adult has to make these complex decisions in their effort to individuate, to step away and form their own personal identity. Individuation means that the person is becoming their own individual and separating from their parents, which is a healthy thing to do for every young adult. This is a stage that has a lot of challenges, but also has a lot of opportunities for growth. By young adulthood, the frontal lobe, the frontal part of the brain, has developed and is continuing to develop to the young adults in their mid-20s. So they have this increasing capacity to make complex decisions and also to do abstract reasoning. Along with that comes all the challenges in the culture, the pressure to succeed. And now with the COVID-19 pandemic and trying to forge their career paths and making decisions about who they want to be in a relationship with, their friends, whether romantic or platonic, very complex decisions. And it's with that understanding that I want us to approach what you do when you disagree with your young adult. And this is a disagreement where your young adult sees it one way and you see it the other way. Or your young adult acts as if they agree with you, but the reality is the moment the discussion is over, they go ahead and do what they want to do. And you as a parent, you're feeling overwhelmed and frustrated because you believe, depending on what the situation is, that your young adult could be making decisions that are detrimental to them, either in the short term or long term. What do you do as a parent? The number one thing I need you to think about before I start giving you some ideas and really strong suggestions as to what to do is for you to never forget that you are influential in the life of your parent or your child. Even though your child is individuating and stepping apart and forming their personal sense of identity, they may never tell you, but they lean on you to a great extent in how they see themselves and in how they cope with the challenges that they face. And it's very important for you to not count yourself out as somebody that is important, because that gives you a sense of hope. Even though you may not like what you're going through right now, and you may not like the path that your young adult is going on, I want you to think about yourself as influential. You've been influential since this person was born. You will be influential now, even though they may not acknowledge it, and you will be influential in the future. And everybody who hears that should say amen. I am a mother of 2 young adults, 23 and 28. And just a few years ago, I was paying their bills, and they were young adults then. And believe me, they still had their own strong opinion as to what they wanted and what they wanted to do. Now that they're fully independent of me financially, yay, I still parent them, and I still consider myself influential, even in times in which I could feel like there could be some distance, whether for a short time or not. It is important for you to remember that you're influential. Remember that this is a critical stage of development. And now let's talk about the things that you need to do. The number one thing that you need to pay attention to as a parent of a young adult is to emphasize safety. Safety, safety, safety. I'm not here to minimize having good career goals at all. I'm very focused, and many parents are very focused on their children achieving in the university, in the marketplace, in their relationships. There's a reason we pay all that money for them to have those degrees and all. But if your child is not safe, every other thing should take a secondary, should be secondary. If your child is engaging in behaviors that are dangerous, whether that is substance abuse, whether that is having multiple partners, not protecting themselves, whether that is suicidal thoughts, whether that is low self-esteem, whether that is feelings of hopelessness, whatever that is, drug addiction, maybe even overworking themselves and not having enough rest, getting into accidents, whatever those risky behaviors are, if your child is engaging in them, I need you as a parent to highlight the seriousness of overlooking these issues. And I would enjoin you to talk about it, not from the standpoint of, oh my God, look at you, why are you making these stupid mistakes? No. I want you to highlight it as saying to your young adult, these are the things that could happen. I love you so much and I don't want this to happen. And I really need to highlight to you how serious this is. Then you're going to take it a little bit further. You're going to say to your young adult, there's solutions here. And there are ways to resolve this. Can you talk to somebody if you don't feel comfortable talking to me about it, about how you're going to prevent these risky issues from reoccurring? Your child can be successful academically and have a lot of A's and be well and do well academically and career-wise. But if they're not taking care of their mind, their body, that is dangerous. I want you to highlight that. I don't want you to take it too personal, even though you may be feeling emotional about it. And I want you to begin to problem solve with your young adult about ways to diminish these risky behaviors. When you do this as much as you can in a matter of a fact way, so that you can get the point across. Number 2, I want you to purify your motives. I call this a purification process. Ask yourself, am I disagreeing with my child over something that is earth-shattering or something that is just a preference of mine? I say this because you need to manage your expectations as a parent. Some of the things you're desiring for your child, they may get there 5-10 years from now, or they may get there tomorrow. But when you manage your expectations, you're less likely to show strong disappointment with your young adult. And when you don't show strong disappointment, the young adult is not going to feel ashamed and feel put down by your disagreement or by what you are saying. Make a list of the things you want your young adult to do and say, what is the basic for my expectations as to what I want my child to do? So for example, if you want your child to have a PhD, that's a wonderful goal. That's something you want to do. But could it be that that's a preference of yours? That's something you want? Nothing wrong with being able to brag as a parent. I love to brag, I'm a parent. But does that child need that PhD to be able to get a job? It could be that based on what you know about your child, a bachelor's degree is good for now. So even though you would love them to go ahead and do a PhD, that bachelor degree is good. They want to go ahead and get a job and they're able to pay their bills. Not to say that you don't have these higher goals, but you need to ask yourself why you're having a major disagreement over something that may be more of your preference, and that you may be overlooking your young adults' abilities or interests and overwhelming them with what you want. So I want you to pay attention to that. Number 3, I have a little list here. I want you to try to encourage your young adult to engage other people that can give advice and counsel that is not you. When your child was younger, it was easy for you to be the center of attention and give all the rules and they have to follow it. I find that with many young adults, when you are insistent on doing it your way or what you want to tell them, they rebel even more. I suggest that you tell your young adults about different resources they can use to get more information about the decisions that need to be made. In that way, you're encouraging your young adults to adopt more of an investigative approach to dealing with their life problems. Instead of just looking to you, maybe as they go out there and they found information from other sources, they can then feel that they're making their own decisions. Some of the information may be in line with what you have told them. That doesn't make any difference. Let them learn to use other resources that are apart from you. And that way you're not overwhelming them with yourself, and it shows that you're confident enough as a parent to allow them to make informed decisions. As a parent who is very involved, you may suggest different resources. You can send them resources online, but say to them, it's not all about what I think. Why don't you go on your process and find out what other people think? People who are knowledgeable, maybe in their career, knowledgeable about substance abuse, knowledgeable about time management, knowledgeable about managing stress, all that. Don't feel like you have to be the only one constantly talking, because the more you repeat the same thing, you can really get your young adult feeling irritated and feeling like you want to have your own way and you're not listening to them. And then the fourth point I want to say in this video is, I want you to enjoy yourself as a parent. I know you're a parent and you understand your role and you're invested in your parent, and you're invested in your child, and nobody can love your child as much as you do. That's honest to God truth. But what about you stepping back and really showing your child that you have a life apart from them? And this can be very difficult for many of us as parents. Get a hobby. Take care of your health. Get your physical done. Start writing if you thought about writing. Start to do some of the things that you were not able to do when you were actively parenting. I think it's important for your young adult to see that you are enjoying your own life, and it sends them a message that even though you want them to do well, there is more to you than just dealing with them. That presents you to them as a positive person, as somebody that has a life, as somebody who is also engaged in life beyond parenting them. They tend to look to you more by what you do and less by what you say. So I want to encourage you to do that. This is going to be the part 1 of what to do when you have a major disagreement with your adult child, and I will continue and finish this talk in another video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.